A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant development in the ongoing war in Ukraine, Washington and Kyiv have reiterated that any deal to end the conflict must fully protect Ukraine's sovereignty. This declaration follows what officials described as constructive talks involving U.S., Ukrainian, and European representatives held in Geneva. The backdrop to these discussions is the updated peace framework proposed by the Trump administration, which, after facing criticism for being perceived as too lenient towards Russia, is now undergoing revisions aimed at addressing Ukraine's concerns. President Donald Trump has set a deadline of November 27 for Ukraine to approve this plan, which outlines 28 points intended to pave the way towards peace after nearly 4 years of conflict. The negotiations have seen U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio leading the American delegation, alongside key figures such as Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. The Ukrainian side was represented by Andriy Yermak, head of President Volodymyr Zelensky's office. During the Geneva talks, both delegations worked on an updated peace plan, emphasizing that Ukraine's principal concerns, security guarantees, long-term economic development, infrastructure protection, freedom of navigation, and political sovereignty, were thoroughly addressed. Rubio characterized the meeting as the best they had experienced throughout the year, echoing Zelensky's optimism about the potential for a revised draft of the U.S. plan. Zelensky has also engaged with Western leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, to discuss the evolving situation. However, the initial draft of the peace plan has faced backlash, particularly from European leaders who have proposed a competing 24-point framework. This European proposal aims to maintain pressure on Russia by keeping sanctions in place and allowing foreign defense forces to be stationed in Ukraine, contrasting with the U.S. approach that seeks to cap the Ukrainian military at 600,000 personnel. The European plan also presents a more favorable stance on NATO membership for Ukraine, indicating that it would be up to NATO members to decide on Ukraine's participation in the defense pact. As the discussions continue, some Republican senators have expressed concern over the initial U.S. proposal, which they felt was overly accommodating to Russia. Senator Mike Rounds clarified that the 28-point plan was not an official U.S. government proposal, but rather a framework that emerged from discussions with Russian representatives. In response, Rubio and the U.S. State Department have sought to clarify that the proposal indeed originated from U.S. officials, albeit with input from both Russia and Ukraine. The political landscape is further complicated by Trump's recent remarks, which criticized Ukraine's leadership for not expressing sufficient gratitude for U.S. support, while simultaneously accusing Europe of undermining peace efforts by continuing to purchase oil from Russia. Trump's comments reflect a broader narrative that the war could have been avoided with stronger leadership from both the U.S. and Ukraine at the onset of the conflict. Meanwhile, the humanitarian toll of the war continues to mount, with heart-wrenching scenes emerging from Ukraine. Families are mourning the loss of loved ones, such as the Zyganov family, who grieve their son, a Ukrainian serviceman killed at the front lines. The ongoing conflict has not only devastated the lives of individuals, but has also strained international relations and alliances. As diplomatic efforts intensify, Zelensky has reaffirmed Ukraine's commitment to working with its partners, including the U.S., to find compromises that will strengthen Ukraine's position in the negotiations. The urgency of these talks cannot be overstated, as the stakes are high for both Ukraine and the broader geopolitical landscape. European Council President Antonio Costa emphasized the importance of a united EU position to ensure a favorable outcome from the ongoing discussions. The situation remains fluid, with reports of Russian military actions continuing to escalate. On Monday, Russian air defenses intercepted a Ukrainian drone near Moscow, leading to temporary flight restrictions at Domodedovo Airport. This incident underscores the ongoing tensions and volatility in the region, as both sides prepare for the next steps in their military and diplomatic strategies. In conclusion, as the clock ticks down to the November 27th deadline set by Trump, the focus will remain on how effectively the revised peace plan can address Ukraine's sovereignty and security concerns while balancing the demands of Russia. The outcomes of these negotiations will undoubtedly shape the future of Ukraine and its relationships with both the US and European allies, as the world watches closely for developments in this critical conflict. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.